explain in terms of diminishing marginal utility why the Washington Monument strategy is so misleading. So, first of all, let's define the Washington Monument strategy. The Washington Monument strategy is, well, a strategy where well known government attractions, such as the Washington Monument or a museum, are closed in order to bring attention to the public. And this strategy is effective, but it's also misleading to the terms in terms of marginal utility, because the rules of marginal utility suggest that the closing the Washington Monument is not a good thing, because you want to keep it open because it provides such high utility to the general public at a relatively low cost compared to lower compared to other services that are in the budget. So, if the government wanted to follow the rule of diminishing marginal utility, then they would divest from lower utility services and instead continue to invest in the Washington Monument. But they don't, and that's what makes it misleading. Move on to question two, which is it possible for total utility to increase while marginal utility decreases? Explain. So, first of all, let's define total utility, which is total utility describes a consumer satisfaction with the purchase, given their constraints, which is limited income, which we all have, and then just changes in the greater world, which can greatly impact someone's total utility. Um, People's total utility can result like vary greatly, just because people come from different backgrounds and value different things. As a result, the same purchase made by two different people may have greatly differing levels of total utility. We can quantify the level of total utility using the unit utils. For example, if two people were to go to a steak restaurant and order an expensive $50 steak, one person may be very content with that purchase, but the other may view it as just a complete and utter waste of money, and that kind of exemplifies total utility. However, to determine the utility of a person's utility of an item, total utility isn't the only thing, and that's where marginal utility comes in. And what marginal utility is it describes the utility or satisfaction that is gained or lost from purchasing a good, or purchasing or using a good multiple times. Um, for example, let's say that you have an extra large pizza, right? You spent about $20 on it, and upon eating that first slice, it's very good, it's delicious, and you're very satisfied with your purchase. So the pizza has a high total utility because within your budget, the enjoyment you received from the pizza was satisfactory. So you still have five total slices of the pizza left, right? Or after eating this first slice, you have four slices left, right? So then you go and eat the next one, and it's also just as delicious. Um, so that utility is still there, but as you eat that third slice, it was really good, but you're nearly full at this point. However, when you finished you still want to finish that pizza, so you eat another slice, and you manage to eat that point, and at this point you are basically full, so you only have one slice of pizza left, and it barely brings you any enjoyment, but you're kind of okay with it at this point. But you just have this one pizza slice left, and you're completely full. You do not want to eat it, but you really, really don't want to waste any food, so you force yourself to eat it. And at this point, you finally finished, and you've scoffed down the pizza, and this has left you with some negative marginal utility. So as you can see in this graph, we start with like 10 utils of enjoyment after eating that first slice, and then gradually it begins to decrease the amount of enjoyment or satisfaction, the utils, we get as we eat like two, then three, then four and five slices. So by the end of it, we're actually getting some like negative marginal utility just because we are full and don't want any more pizza because our hunger is not existing anymore. So negative marginal utility can decrease as total utility is high.